if you took the globe, like a big old slice of cheese, and just cut it, laid it flat, you have an open world game. And the Earth, because it's flat. According to, isn't it B.O.B., the rapper?
There are way too many flat earthers now. It's very disturbing.
What's happening?
And this is coming from a conservative Christian.
And the Illuminati, right? I mean, come on. Welcome to Crap Tonight Blog.
Keep it.
Okay, you know like what? That. It's there.
You know what? It's weird.
It's out there. Whatever just happened. Now it's recorded.
It's our intro.
I'd say it's in the bowels of the internet at this point. The bowels.
I'm missing some of my bowels.
And the internet's missing some of its.
I gave them to the internet.
It's on Tor, the black sites, you know, the ones that you just can't get to by normal means. It's on the deep web.
The deep web.
The bowels missing from the internet are in the deep web. Your bowels are definitely in a dumpster, and
I asked my
Brad
doctor,
Pitt is using them in Fight Club to make
I would hope
soap.
I would hope. When I had the first surgery last year,
yeah,
the surgeon is sitting in my hospital room. Like I hadn't slept all night because I went into the ER that night and was admitted that morning. And
yeah,
he's sitting there like, all right, this is what's going on. We have to, you have too much. It's causing the blockage. We're gonna have to remove it.
Yep.
And here's a procedure. We're going to do it tomorrow. You have any questions? The only question I had was, can I have what you take out in a jar? And he looked at me and goes, no. Do you have any other questions? And I go, nope.
He's like,
I was not kidding.
Yeah.
That was a sincere question.
He's like, listen here, Farnsworth.
Listen here, Professor.
Yeah, you're not getting anything.
Dr. Frankenstein, Igor, you can't have it.
No. So now we quickly mentioned flat earthers, right?
Yeah.
Let's kind of segue that into if the Earth is flat, say.
Okay.
And you look straight ahead and you can see something very far in the distance. If you go for long enough, you'll get to it, right? Like if you just go for far and long enough, it gets closer, you're there. That's like the Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. If you see it, you can get to it.
Unless it's the other side of the canyon at the border of the map.
Well,
but there's
in
nothing.
which case you just
gotta
gotta find a way to glitch yourself over there.
But then there's nothing there.
Yeah, well that doesn't matter. You want to be there, don't you?
Always.
Yeah.
I want to be on the edge of nothingness.
I want to be on it.
The edge of.
I want to be on it. I want it to be on me. So we would like to, but I would like to talk about these open world games because I tell you what, there's been a lot of them.
In the first, not even half of the year, just the first 3 months.
Well, and even coming out of last year, and there's some that I haven't even gotten to. I would say, you look at Gravity Rush 2, right? That's semi-open world. That's it's more linear in its approach, but I've heard that's pretty open. Yakuza, that came out. Yakuza 0 came out. That's pretty open. We have Watch Dogs 2, Final Fantasy 15, those came out late last year.
Like December, November.
But if you were playing them like an open world game, they easily stretched into this year.
I'm still playing through Watch Dogs and Final Fantasy.
And then we have Horizon Zero Dawn, quickly followed by Breath of the Wild.
Like that the same week.
Yeah. And within the time that it would take a normal person to beat Breath of the Wild, Mass Effect Andromeda came out. And so we're still not at breathing distance yet of these open world games. So we need to talk about at least two of them. And I'd say the two most pivotal and important because of their excellence. And that's Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, indeed.
And I think we can compare the two because there's a lot they do that are the same with different presentations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you look at the games at face value, if you were to play them both for an hour, you'd be like, these games couldn't be more different. But at 20 to 25 hours, you're like, these games are incredibly similar. It's just the way that they go about presenting them, like quest direction.
Yeah.
Or getting the materials you need for certain things and how you unlock to advance those, whether it be a great fairy or a cauldron. The difference is out there, but the direction is the same. You're going towards the same end goal in both of these games, whether it be new gear or new weapons, or you're going to the hunting lodge to do something over here, or you're doing tasks at a new stable over here to get, different armor sets. The way that you do things in these games are very different, but they both are doing the same thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're given a quest in Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Here it is on your map, go to this place.
And if it's you have to find it, here's the circumference where we have to find
exactly.
it. What I liked how Zelda did that, because I always wondered, how would you do that without doing what, like, how would you say, go here, find this thing, but, like, there's no, like, here's a dot with a circumference, it's in this area.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild did that, and it wasn't easy, but it was easy, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
they'd say, like, oh, you have to go find this.
Uh-huh.
And you check, like, where do I have to go? You check where, like, on the map where the quest marker is. It's at the source of the quest.
Yeah, the person that gave you the
The
quest.
person you have to go back to say, I
Yeah.
completed it. So, like, what? So you have to look at, like, it says, go to this area. I'm like, okay. So you look at your map, you find it, you're like, oh, I have to go here.
Yeah.
But what? Okay.
But on your way there, it's like, then you get to an area like in the Akala Mountains, and it's too cold.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't survive here. Do I need food to stay warm? Do I have enough food to stay warm? How long am I going to take me to get to this next quest zone? And so Zelda was very much Breath of the Wild. It's the most genius open world progression system I've ever seen, where it's like, hey, do this quest, go here. You can't, can you? We'll figure it out. Because if you want to go this way, if this is where you are deciding the next portion of this game is going to be for you, you got to figure this out.
Yeah.
They're not saying, hey, go here, get this armor, then you can go here and do this. They're saying, if you want that to be your next step, cool. But you got to figure out how it's going to be your next step. Because when you go into the mountains, you know, it's too cold. If you go into the Goron area, it's too hot. Or if you go into the Gerudo area, it's too hot in a different way. You know, one's setting you on fire, one is dehydrating you. You know, it's that approach is very cool. But then you look at Horizon, and it's very much like, hey, here's your quest. Go to this point.
Search the area.
You get on the tall neck. You're gonna see everything you need. But like if you go
icons
to,
just pop up galore like a Ubisoft game.
Yes, but in Zelda, and you go to any of the towers and you get something. Sure, now you can see areas. But there's still no direction, quote unquote. It's almost like playing. Did you ever play Okami?
No.
I mean, it was very much like, hey, we need you to do this. And they just stare at you and say, go. And you're like, I don't know where, you know. And you want to curl up and die in a corner because you don't know where to go.
The exact opposite. I played, when I played Far Cry 3, the first tower I climbed, and then suddenly, like, just icons littered everything. I'm like, nope. And I turned it off for a little bit.
Nope.
So I'm like, there's like this happy medium when it comes to that, because Zelda gives you nothing, which actually I think they give you just enough for what they ask of you.
Yeah.
Because everything is also very much like, go to this place, you'll find it in this area, look for this thing, and it's very obvious, but you still have to look for it. You still have to follow the directions for, okay, he said go over here. I think there's only one quest I'm like, this is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Which was a shrine quest where you have to like find the pieces of, I think it was like a mirror. It looks like the mirror of Twilight.
Yeah, but they kind of glowed at night. It was on the beach.
Barely glowed at night.
Barely.
I looked up a guide for that. I'm like, F this. I'm looking up the guide where this is to find, because I'm not...
I tried to go, like, in my mind, and after playing Zelda for...
You begin to learn the visual language. Like, I'm sure it's going to be in this area.
at the end of this island.
That's the only one that I knew it would be there, but the other one, I'm like,
the one that was in between the rocks or something.
Where is this stupid thing? I just want the shrine.
And it's funny how you want to do your best without looking things up, but it gets to a point where it's like, you made this to sell the guide, didn't you? You d-bags. Like, I know what you're up to.
Good thing there's wikis on the internet.
Right? Yeah. There's no such thing as Prima exclusive guides anymore. We're gonna get it all. But
the guide for Skyrim, I see at the store every now and then. I'm like, that's not a guide. That's an addendum to the Bible. Like, that thing. What is that?
It's Sky, the Church of Rim.
That thing is an owner's manual to a fighter jet. Like,
well, it's funny because in that it's basically like the book has to ever evolve. It feels like, because there are so many things that just spawn and happen in Skyrim as you go. It's basically like evolution. It's like, let us explain it to you, but it's gonna change a lot, so be ready. You know. But I feel like in Breath of the Wild, like you said, they give you just enough that you can find your general direction.
Yeah.
But you don't know exactly where or what you're doing when you get there. You know, like finding those stones. It was like, hey, they kind of glow at night. You're like, cool. I'm going to look at night because they glow.
And you're expecting to kind of see, like, maybe somewhat of a pillar. Like, oh, I should go to that area. Nope, you just have to, like, all right, where's the rock that, like...
But they were at such an angle, you couldn't just look.
Yeah.
You had to happen upon them.
Yeah.
And that was booty, you know, in my opinion. But then, you know, Horizon is not like, it doesn't hand feed you by any means. It has you go to a certain area, but then theirs is more of like, you encounter things that stop you from doing what you're going to do. Like, then it challenges you. And I will say, the one not the one place. I think Horizon excels over Breath of the Wild in a couple places. But combat is definitely more satisfying in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Really?
I think so. I think that the speed, the ability to dodge in ways that isn't like a messed up flurry swipe system where that timing is whack.
The timing is weird at times.
Yeah, it's not a frame dodge like in Bloodborne or Dark Souls. Like, you're not waiting for that moment of impact to dodge.
Yeah.
You're trying to dodge in their forward swing where you are in danger. But that's like it's kind of interpretive. Like, every character is different, and like what a swing is and when it's hitting you is different.
I think there was a couple times I've learned. I think it was for Lionel's. I began to figure out when is that dodge to do the flurry attack.
Well, Lionel's you have to. I mean,
there's the first way I started destroying Lionel's was shooting them in the face.
Yeah,
and then mounting them, and then
just going to town on them,
and then they throw me off, and then. There was a couple, if I knew he bent down to charge, I'm like, perfect, shoot him in the face. If he started to breathe in for the fire, shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
If he was just coming at me, shoot him in the face.
Yeah. Well, I think that, and there's kind of nothing wrong. I thought the combat in Breath of the Wild was awesome. It was definitely the best Zelda combat yet. I loved Skyward Sword's focus on like certain ways you had to use the Wii Motion Plus, and Twilight Princess was kind of, it was rudimentary. It was, especially on Wii, it was just, you just swing your arm as fast as you can.
Like Louis C.K.
Yeah, you do your best, in that. But, Breath of the Wild, you have all these different types of weapons. You can freeze them, set them on fire, blow them up, set traps. You can do all these different things with the elements, using wind as your advantage, or setting the grass on fire and flying up and then doing multiple shots. Like, there's nothing wrong with the combat in it. It's genius. But Horizon had this amazing system where you have the different elements on certain weapons that do certain things to different enemies, and they also have weak spots that you want to try to get, but they're not always readily available. You kind of have to set them up, to do it, and they have to react a certain way to what you're doing. You can set traps in different ways than, Breath of the Wild, where you actually can set things up between trees and goad them on to come to you, and then use that to your advantage. I feel like the combat was, more fluid. Definitely more fluid. That's not an argument, but it just, to me, you felt more triumphant when winning a battle.
Especially against a Thunderjaw.
Yeah, well, yeah. That in the Deathbringer, come on. There's just certain things in Horizon I feel like you feel more like a man or a woman, depending, Aloy, obviously, but you feel better.
Yeah.
You defeat one and you're like, oh, and you get, the experience and the things you need from them, certain materials that you can't get anywhere else. And I don't know. To me, I feel like that's one of the places it excelled. But one that I feel like, I don't know, and I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
So in Zelda, right, like a Lionel or maybe a Hinox or, anything, Talus, those types of things, when you run into them, the random boss encounter, those are really fun. Like, those are really cool encounters, and I feel like they're rare, and you happen upon them. Like, you don't go looking for them, but then when you know where they are, you can kind of farm them. But the Blood Moon, like, brings them all back, and that's a bummer. They do come back. Where I feel like the random bosses you run into in Horizon Zero Dawn, and you defeat them, and like other characters react to it, and they're like, you defeated that creature, you helped us out, like our clan can go to this place and that place. Like, you're like, haha, like I did it, I found this thing, I got the rare materials I need, I can make this armor, I can't do that anywhere else. I feel like random boss encounters felt more triumphant in Horizon Zero Dawn than they did in Zelda. Except for the first time in Breath of the Wild when you beat them, you're like, that was amazing. But then they're back again and you're like, oh, they were just a mob enemy with a health bar and a theme song. I
like the theme song.
I love them. On the soundtrack, like, I keep listening to Talus one constantly. I love it. It's so good. But, which one did you think felt better to you?
I was impartial.
Okay.
Because of the fact that, you need Hinox guts and stuff to upgrade gear, some of your gear, and you can get multiple copies of the same gear. If you... Oh, I don't have them. You have...
Yeah.
Are those both yours?
No, I have one of yours here.
Okay, I was about to say. I have them over there.
Yeah. I took them.
Anyway, if you can get... if you had the other Zelda one, the Twilight Princess one, and you get the Twilight Princess... Not Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time tunic, you can get multiple the same tunic over and over again,
right?
If you get it when you scan it,
if you're lucky enough,
yeah. And so I don't think those take Hinox guts, but there's some, you get the same multiples of the same things that could be upgraded with that material, and then also the rare stuff like the Hinox guts you can sell for more rupees to
So for the sake of farming,
for the sake of the the in-game economy, they kind of need to come back. The one thing that did disappoint me is that I feel strongly that the Lionels should have had a mini boss bar as well.
I agree,
because
you have to be wearing like the actual this gear to see their health bar, you know.
And well, those things were tougher than the Hinoxes, in my opinion.
Big time. You can kill a Hinox in like one attack, you know.
Yeah, if you have what's her
Urbosa's Fury.
Fury, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about though with Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn is that I think these are the two. This is how I interact with games mostly, isn't just on the gameplay, but on the story level.
Okay.
And even though Zelda is heavily gameplay over story, it is the best Zelda story I think we have.
Better than Twilight Princess?
Better than Twilight Princess. Because also, this is the first Zelda game, or one of the... Well, not the first Zelda game. I think the original Legend of Zelda was about Zelda.
Yes.
But this is all about Zelda. Like, the few cutscenes that you open up that reveal Zelda.
The memories.
Like, this is the most interesting Zelda character
I agree with that,
seen.
By far.
And I was so involved into her story, and I found it interesting that she's the actual protagonist that you're not playing as. Like, she's the main character of the story.
Yeah.
She's the one that's driving the story forward, just like, all right, I'm going to do my duty.
Yeah.
Like, that's really... And actually, when you wake up in the current time in Breath of the Wild, you have no idea who you are. It's like,
right.
All right, I got to figure out who the heck I am.
Yeah, which, by the way, I mean, it should be obvious. There's spoilers.
Yes.
Lots of spoilers, because we want to talk about some stuff here. So, 3, 2, 1, spoil butts.
But what I like about it is, you don't have to discover those memories. I did, because I'm like, I have to. And I made sure to unlock all of the dungeons, all 4 of the Divine Beasts. And then, before I went to Ganon, I stood outside the castle, and I watched all of them in order.
Yeah.
All the memories in order. I have to watch them all in order.
Yeah.
And then I went into the castle. And actually, there's one thing that I wish I didn't have to do, that I wish that they put elsewhere, is one of the memories is in the castle. Mm-hmm. That memory should have not been in the castle. They should have had it somewhere else, because when you enter the castle grounds, it is an end game climactic feeling. Like, when I'd walk in there, just kind of explore it, because you can if you want.
Yeah.
It's like the Zelda theme finally comes into full force, and some other, like the castle theme from Link to the Past comes in full force, and things are intertwining, and it's thundering and lightning, and there's laser beams. Like, this is awesome!
Yeah.
I'm hit the end, but I'm like, I wasn't anywhere near the end yet. I just wanted that memory.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't come back here until I'm ready to come back, because I wanted to play it narratively, because that's how I play.
Right.
But also the way that they handle the growth of the character and the change of the character. Like, Link isn't the one changing, I am. Mm-hmm. Like, Link isn't getting stronger, I'm just getting better at the game.
Well, what's funny is, Link is this character that already existed.
Yeah.
You are kind of like the mirror image of someone who's already famous. Someone who's kind of figuring out, oh, wow, I've helped a lot of people. Like, I'm kind of a big deal, you know? But you are figuring out who Zelda is, and you find out that she's the one that really protected you.
Yeah.
You find out that she's the one that really, the only reason that you're still around, the only reason anybody's still around is because of her. But you are the spoken hero. She's the unspoken hero and I agree, the story was amazing. I actually went through, and after reading her diary, which was amazing.
Oh, I love it. Like, I didn't read that when I got the memory, but as I was going through Hyrule Castle at the end, I found that. I went back to that room and read through that. I'm like, this is like the best writing they've ever done.
But reading hers and being like, man, she had it rough with her dad and everything she had to live up to. Then you read her dad's diary.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, and he is just like heartbroken for her, and he's like, I'm doing my best to like make sure that she knows she's loved, but she also has to be so strong for us, and like he's very emotional about it all. And you read those two like back to back, and you realize like how much he was hiding from her. And how much she didn't see that. Yeah. And how she felt like so pained and so pressured. Obviously, the memories, where she's all like broken down because of what her father is doing, all this pressure.
Oh, and she hates you.
Yeah. She hates you, and she hates being who she has to be,
Well, she hates you because you represent her failure.
Yes.
And it's just the most interesting Zelda character. And I always thought, like, if they were to do a Zelda movie, it's obviously going to be Ocarina of Time. Now I'm like, nope, it's this one.
Right. I mean, I would argue that Midna's story is just as interesting.
Yes, it's very good. It's
because the presentation value is so much higher in this, I think I latch onto it better.
Yeah.
While I still don't love her voice acting, it kind of took me out of it sometimes. I loved her character, and I loved every cutscene that she had. Yeah. And after doing all the memories, you get that scene afterwards where they're talking at the end, and she's like, I've noticed I can't hear the sword talking to me anymore. My power must have dwindled over those, 100 years that I've been in captive, keeping Ganon away. And she's like, I'm kind of okay with that. And you're like, that's awesome. Like she is.
There's the full arc. She's like,
Yeah.
I've accomplished what I needed. I'm okay.
Yeah, and she also like is now, she sees, as you used to be kind of this like newbie and everything. Obviously, she saw you protect her a couple times, but now she sees like you can do this. Like I've got you in the position you need to be.
Yeah.
I can kind of start fading back and just being a leader. And that's really cool. I love that ending. It was so short, and yet it was kind of to set up DLC. A little bit shameless. That's okay.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, Varudo or whatever. One of the divine beasts was breaking down. They had to go back to the Zora area. So you're like, oh, you're setting up another story. Cool. But then you also see her characters change. That huge switch. And then it's like, okay, now that's where it switched from Zelda being the protagonist to being like, okay, Link, now it's about you. I can take a step back and I'm okay with that,
I actually can't wait to replay this game. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually still playing through it.
I know, I haven't stopped yet.
Normally when I beat a game or finish it, even if I have unopened quests,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I finished it. I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
good. See you later.
So I have a couple like quick fires that I say who did what better between these two games. Horizon was better at horse travel, horse quote unquote, because you use a horse in Zelda for like 2 seconds at a time, because quickly you're trapped.
Yeah.
You can't go up a lot of hills. You can't go down a lot of hills.
To role play as Link at one point. Like when I was going to the castle, I decided to all right, my last divine beast was in the Gerudo Desert. I spawned the horse at that area. I actually went up to Kakariko Village first to get my supplies.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, I'm not fast traveling to the castle, even though I have a couple shrines open right there.
Yeah.
I am riding straight up the middle like a BA
Yeah.
MFer going in to kill Ganon.
Yeah.
That is what I'm going to do.
Sure.
And I kind of wanted to like have that like build up of like I'm going. I'm not just going to be there. I'm traveling to that. But that was a conscious decision, and I think the horse is controlled well.
It is controlled well, especially when it auto drives on roads.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
But I do agree. Like Horizon, I think did a better job when you actually got a mount, and when you unlock the skill to just whistle for one whenever.
Right, and they fight for you.
Yeah.
You can use them offensively. You have multiple options of mounts that do different things. Whether it's your first one, what are they called? Striders, yeah. Or you get the bullhorn, or whatever they're called.
I forget what they're called.
Yeah,
at the moment.
but you get them, and then they both do different things, but they're very cool. Both of them. I think Horizon did that way better.
And I will say, just kind of go off the storyline as well as earlier, that Horizon I think is the best story I think I played in a video game.
Oh yes, by
the
far.
best
So
story
good.
I've played. Like the opening, I'm like, I'm sold.
Me too.
I am sold on this story. I'm sold on her, and then the ideas that they were putting forth in science fiction, and like the demise of man, like being our own fault, and like the calamity of the earth isn't just like, well, it's not just climate change. It's like, no, we've built robots that are going to not just kill us but kill the climate rapidly. Well, it's not an asteroid. It's like it was fascinating ideas.
Yeah,
and like I could see this happening.
Yeah, well, and it's almost like the cognitive still there. We're still just as intelligent, but almost Neanderthal-esque approach to what we see as existing technology being the ultimate demise and evil in the world. Where it's like everyone's still very smart, but then they see all these things that they claim as like, we can't go there, that is sacred ground, but it's like, no, that's how we still survive. Like we created this, but they still don't see that. There's almost like this weird native mix of, and I know they played that up a lot too.
Yeah.
You see the people that are still using technology and the ones that are afraid of it, and the All-Mother and
I just liked how in depth they went into the tribes and the stories, and then just how they revealed what the Zero Dawn project was.
Yeah.
Like you were asking like, what is this? And then you hear about Hades, like what is this Hades? And there's when you're crafting a story in script writing for film, you want to make sure your audience is asking questions, but you want to make sure they're asking the questions you want them to ask, but you can't give them that question. Right. You just have to guide the story in such a way that you're having them ask, okay, what is this? Yeah. Why is this important? Like, what is that about? And so when you start hearing about Hades, you're like, okay, Hades obviously isn't a god. It's some sort of AI. Like that I could put together right away. Yeah. Like when they start talking about Hades, like, well, what is he? And you start realizing what Zero Dawn is, what Guy is. And as you're going through the facility, the only way you actually figure out what Hades is like listening to the audio codex and like the things. Right. And suddenly there's, I think it was the the guy from Tennessee that had like the hentai that he brought with him into like the creepy guy that you're just like I kind of like him but I hate him.
Yeah.
I would have nothing to do with him in
Right.
real
He reminded
life.
me of,
but he's a funny character in a TV show.
From Matrix, like, what was his name? The one that turned on him.
Oh, Joey Pants.
Yes.
I forget his
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
But yeah, so like, and then he's the one that was in charge of Hades. He starts talking about Hades, like, oh.
Yeah. Well, then what's crazy about that, like in a video game setting, that makes you then want to play towards that storyline.
Yes.
You then start craving that, you know? And for them to be an open world game that lets you do that,
yeah,
they crafted that geniusly.
And I loved how because I actually found the discovering the past more interesting than the current timeline story.
Okay.
But I loved how they made sure what was happening in the past converged with the events in the present or future present of Aloy's time. Like what happened in our time, you're discovering in the past, and then like this is how it fits in.
Yeah.
And like it was just good storytelling.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so I think her Zelda did fast travel better because you didn't have to have, you know, any materials to do it.
Well, then you can very easily find that one
And
like,
shrines.
unlimited fast track pack. Like, why even bother having the packs if that's so easy to obtain?
Yeah, Horizon had leveling up and skill advancement. I just like that. You know, obviously you find gear that lets you do things better, and you have gear sets and everything in Zelda, and you hearts and stamina.
What I liked about, I mean, I like having to be able to unlock the skill tree.
Yeah,
like that it just like euphoric game feel stuff. I'm like,
right. It's RPG. Yeah.
What I liked about how Zelda did the same thing, but it's not in like you unlock the skill tree. It's like you unlock the skill yourself.
Right.
You learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And the only skill thing you unlock is adding the spirit orbs to the stamina wheel. Really, that's
sure.
You just get more of the skill, rather.
But I mean,
than...
like, you know, like Durok's protection and Urbosa's Fury.
Actually, I
and
really
Loki's
liked how they did dungeon items.
Grace and
like that was a very interesting take on dungeon items. Like,
I agree.
We're getting rid of dungeon items, but we're not. We're giving you a
Powers.
skill, a power,
Yeah.
which I discovered if you were flying really high with the glider and you had Daruk's protection, and you just drop.
You can protect yourself.
You can
from
protect
the
yourself from the fall.
Yeah.
Just hit it.
And then when you kind of go,
and then you're fine.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna try this.
But I loved those powers. I just, you know, in traditional sense of RPG, Horizon had skill progression.
Yeah.
Where Zelda had skill progression, it was just more obtuse, you know?
Yeah.
Like you had to find ways to use it. I don't know. I like experience. Like I kind of crave it, you know? Like I'm 60 hours into Mass Effect Andromeda right now. And Mass Effect does a lot of things that these other games do. Maybe not as well. But it also has, you know, you're focusing on the greater good. You're focusing on other characters and loyalty, and you're focusing on romance, and you're focusing on.
I have to admit, Mass Effect Andromeda is so not grabbing me right now.
And it's not grabbing a lot of people, and I think that I am on the short list, honestly, of people that I'm gonna platinum this thing. I'm like at 75%.
I'm also a little frustrated with some of the combat because Zelda and Horizon were such fluid combat, and this just feels clunky to me at times.
Yeah, I mean, you get like to a point because there's so many options.
Yeah,
you get to a point where it's an extension of how you want to fight. You craft it because now they have profiles, you know.
Yeah, I like that. I don't have to be like, all right, I'm tech or I'm biotic.
Right.
I can I'm gonna switch what I want to be.
Yeah, it's fluid. You can change it around.
I do like that, but I'm just like nothing in this is really grabbing me right now.
Yeah, you have to either crave the gameplay or crave the story.
I'm kind of craving the gameplay, but the story, I'm like, please tell me this gets better.
Yeah, I mean,
not better, just more interesting.
I think the story is very cookie cutter sci-fi.
Yeah,
but all of the loyalty missions are very good.
Are they?
Everything with the Angara and everything with all the different arcs are absolutely amazing.
Okay.
It's back to form, like, because I love Mass Effect 1 through 3.
I love them.
Some of my favorite games of all time. These missions are very much in that ilk.
Okay.
The main story, take it or leave it. I'm okay. It's fine. Like, the Archon is just an enemy. He's doing a bad thing. You're a Pathfinder. You're finding new places to live. Blah-de-blah. We've seen it a million times.
I like the idea of finding new places to live. I wish that was more of it rather than like, here's the ancient alien race with the other bad aliens trying to figure out how to use. Like, we had the ancient alien race with the bad aliens trying to use the technology against it. Like, we've done this for 3 games.
You got to get a little farther.
Okay.
And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but that changes a lot.
Okay.
You find out like what is actually going on with that ancient alien race and what you're doing, and everything changes.
Okay.
So right now I'm at the turning point because I've done almost every side mission out there as far as loyalty and discovery, and I've 100%ed all the different planets and everything like that. But now I'm at the point where I'm doing the main mission again, and it's all tying together in this really well-crafted fashion where I'm like, I didn't expect this.
Would you say
know?
it's kind of like a TV show that starts really slow,
Yes.
but then like once you get 4 episodes in, suddenly like, oh, the slow start was worth it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
this slow stuff now is making sense in the end. And
it's like a Showtime show where they have 4 episodes of setup, 4 of climax, and 4 of let's cool it down. You know, they have like
they have the
long
perfect
arc.
Freytag pyramid of storytelling.
Yes, yeah, and it really does. It feels like it. And if you really do like the side missions and stuff, it's a great game. But it has a lot of technical downfalls. Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn do not have that. You know, this one stands alone in the fact that it's kind of a piece of poo while being a great game to play. You know, it's like either you take it with that or you don't. You know, and it's okay.
I'm gonna wait for the patches to finish. To be honest.
I don't blame anyone for waiting because right now I'm technically playing the worst version of the game, and I have to accept that. But I don't know. To me, I don't think that I can say Breath of the Wild is better than Horizon Zero Dawn, but I think that they equally do things better than each other. But in the end, like, I enjoyed my experience equally differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think Zero Dawn is one of my favorite stories. Zelda's my favorite franchise, so it's biased. It's
me too.
It's kind of like when somebody asks me, what's your favorite movie, even if it's a person I just met, I always tell them, well, besides Star Wars, as if it's a given, they already know that I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, well, besides Star Wars, it's Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at me like, what do you mean besides Star Wars? I'm like, well, I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
I can't count that. Yeah.
I can't count that. I don't even count myself as a fan. I call myself a Star Wars whore because I will still rewatch the prequel trilogy, and those aren't really good movies.
Yeah, but I still watch them.
I'll watch them.
Yeah.
I'll watch them over again. I watched episode 1 back in December. I was going to try and watch all 6-7 movies leading up to see Rogue One.
Yeah.
I watched episode 1. I'm like, why am I watching this? And you know what? I'm going to watch it again someday.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But yeah, Zelda
happen.
to me, like, it's not really fair to compare because I play that. I still take it to work with me. I love my Sheikah slate. I still listen to the soundtrack. Like,
oh, yeah.
I am in love with Zelda. But as far as, like, game-to-game, apples-to-apples comparison goes, I can put the two up against each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I can be unbiased about an actual, like, video game review. But the world of Zelda will win every time. For me, like, that gets me, like, excited. Like, I get these stupid grins on my face when I do, or, like, cool things would show up in there. Or they would mention something from Ocarina of Time. Or they'd mention something for Twilight Princess. But in Horizon Zero Dawn, I never had those moments of, like, geeking out. Instead, I was like, this is a dang good game. And I'd like to see it as a TV show, as a movie, as a book, as a comic. Like, I want it all, you know? So, in the end, I think
Horizon would be an awesome TV show.
I agree. In the end, I just think that they both had amazing presentations. They presented the same game goals in completely different ways. And it showed Guerrilla and Nintendo both making games that are stellar. And they show where we should be going as far as storytelling goes and open world exploration goes. But I think that, you know, some do better things than the other, but in the end they balance out.
I will say, to kind of finish off, the one complaint about Horizon, is that there are just moments where I'm like, this is too cluttered with the machines. Like, I would be fighting a robot crocodile, and then suddenly a second, and then a third, and then a fourth, and then I'm getting blasted by a billowback, and then a hawk. This comes like, where are these coming from? They weren't even on the map. Like, that hawk is on the other side of the world. Why is he here?
Yeah.
Like, that was my only complaint. Like, I'd be in the fight with a sawtooth, and then suddenly, like, a crocodile's there, and then the birds are there. I'm like, where are these? Like,
I feel like that's a game way of telling you should have snuck up. Like, it's being like, hey,
well, no, if I did sneak up and even tried to, like, strategize, and suddenly I'm finding myself around, then you look at the map like, oh, that's why this, and this, and this. Like, it's...
Right in the middle of...
I felt like it was a little overcrowded at parts. I'm like...
Difficulty spikes and stuff existed for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, just getting across the world, I'm like, wait, I don't want
Yeah, when you get a mission marker and it's over there, you're like,
oh,
maybe
gosh,
later.
I don't have any fires to go to, and I'm gonna have to fight that thing, and I don't want to, and I'm running out of arrows.
Let me just say this. Aloy, follow. Right? Follow. That scene, you know, we lost, and I won't say anything more in case you haven't played it yet.
I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Then it didn't impact you like it impacted me.
Aloy follow at the beginning? Or?
Yeah, it's the beginning, right after the trials. With the... don't worry about it.
I'm blanking.
What did you like better? I I know you said cults, but I thought you said into a cult for a second.
We have to get into a cult?
Gotta get her into a cult as soon as possible.
I'm thinking of Scientology because I just want to throw my money into a furnace.
I love the show The Path, and I'm just so excited for her to live out the path.
That's what I want.
Yeah, hey, you know what, honey? One day, you're gonna realize how close to a religion this is, and get out. And I can't wait for you to have that for yourself.
It's a marvelous freeing experience.
Marvelous freeing experience! Marvelous freeing experience!